Good evening, everyone. Mm, I really apologize for yesterday, some emergency issues, and even today for starting quite half an hour late. Reason being that nowadays, even our police personnel, they are also demanding the homeopathic way of increasing the immunity, and I had to go and listen them and do something for them. That took the time. And anyway, never mind. Let us go ahead with our class. We started with the aphorism 19, 20, and 21. I told you is related to the knowledge of medicine, knowledge of power of medicine. So, this knowledge of power of medicine, 19th aphorism, we discussed. This aphorism starts and says that how to know what and why a medicine will help. Very simply, if we try to know, this aphorism says that every medicinal substance, any drug, has got a power that we can know by how much and in what exact peculiar way this particular drug is altering the health. And to know the exact alteration only and only because of the medicine, we will come to know if we try to know all the alterations in a healthy human being. Why we need healthy human being? So that whatever the alterations are happening, we will come to know they are purely and purely because of the drug given. So the first very thing is to understand that instead of so many other ways of knowing the power of medicine, I told you the article, I gave you the glimpse also in the last class, day before yesterday, and Hahnemann concluded very nicely that whatever it is, the only right method of knowing the power of any drug is testing them on healthy human being. You know that we all call them drug proving. So if we really know this drug proving, uh, then only we will be will be coming to know about the power of the medicine. So it is the health altering capacity of any drug is nothing but its curative power. So altering power. For this power, Henman says how what kind of has its own, whatever may be the limitation, has its own vital force, which has a property which is also spirit life. This power is throughout in that plant, and it is to be seen that in maximum which part it is. That is the reason some of the herb leaves are used, some of the herb the only the root is used, fruit is used, or the whole plant is used, depending on where is more concentrated the power is. But then it is present everywhere, and this is also spirit like, because what we need the medicines in dynamic state, because what is disease? Sick human being. So the spirit like power of the substance, medicinal substance, and the spirit like power of the healthy human being in the form of alteration in the sensations and functions of the organism. We note them in the form of sign and symptoms. So this 20th says this spirit like power to alter man's state of health which lies hidden in the inner nature of the medicines, can never be discovered by us by a mere effort of reason. He says, what is the way you cannot know this spirit like power of a plant which is somewhere in the invisible interior in the plant? We cannot know this spirit like power somewhere in the inner of the medicinal substance. You cannot know it by simply reasoning, by simply arguments. It can be any kind of argument. It may be the argument based on the signature I explained to you earlier also. Since the plant look like an eye, so this is going to be very good in the eye. Since this plant is red in color, so it is going to be very good for the blood or blood disorders. There are many doctrine of signatures, and one of the tools used to describe the power of medicine. Throughout the herbal literature, you will find all these things. I must tell you that in the WhatsApp University, you get so much of knowledge, and that too, especially regarding the treatment of the all kind of diseases. How all this information regarding the herbal plant and so many other things comes from? In the medieval time, in the dark era time, that is first AD to the 1500 AD, those days, some of the authors, they wrote the various materia medica on the herbal plant. And most of the knowledge regarding the power of the medicine in those books, the real and main source is doctrine of signature. And I assume this WhatsApp University is drawing all the knowledge from those kind of books. And they get circulated around, and many people try that. So try to refrain from all such kind of informations, because the only way is knowing the drug by testing them in a one very programmed manner on a healthy human being. And you just cannot know by arguments, by reasoning, by discussion, by talks, by signature, and all those things. You can go into the chemistry and know the pharmacognosy of a plant. When I say pharmacognosy, means when you analyze a plant in a laboratory and you find out that how many kind of alkaloids it is containing. And so many other things, inorganic and organic chemical substances contents are very well described in a subject called pharmacognosy. So even knowing that, like if you go into the pharmacognosy of pulsatilla, and you will find so many of alkaloids and so many other inorganic and organic substances, and then each element has got certain symptoms. You cannot create a materia medica out of it. Even if you create a materia medica out of this, you may not be very sure exact. What is exact? The exact is when you make a particular solution of the pulsatilla plant, the juice of it, and when you, in a given doses, in a very programmed manner, in a very protocol manner, when you test them on the healthy human beings, what is the alteration this juice is producing, pulsatilla is producing? We have to note them down. As Henman did this work in Materia Medica Pura, Volume 2, we get pulsatilla, all those symptoms. And these symptoms are the actual alteration of the health produced by pulsatilla. Hence, in a natural disease, when such kind of alterations are seen and pulsatilla given in a particular doses will cure it. You may find so many information about pulsatilla in the herbal books. Some of the information may be coinciding with your proving, but then since it is a mixture of so many things, you cannot trust that literature for the good. So this is the most scientific way of prescribing a medicine to one patient for the exact cure, exact treatment, exact way of administering the medicine. So if you go through aphorism uh, 19, you will come to know that here he says that I'm just reading aphorism 19, the later part which starts with indeed after a semicolon. Indeed, that their curative power must be owing solely to this power they possess of altering man's state of health. Very simple. The curative power is owing solely, means it is dependent on, only solely means no other way, solely to the power that they possess, that power which they have it, altering the man's state of health. So very simply if we say, it is the health altering power of a particular medicine is nothing but the curing power of the medicine. He says the curing power is the one which is the altering power. So this is how he is presenting. And then in the 20th he says, not possible by reasoning. Then further in 20th, what is he saying? It is only by experience of the phenomena it displays when acting on the state of health of man that we can become clearly cognizant of it. So it is only by experience. Again, he is coming experience. Henman is saying reasoning is not working. Experience is going to work. It is only by experience. Experience of what? The phenomena, the event, the all those signs and symptoms produced by that particular medicine in a healthy human being, all those alterations is the phenomena produced by that drug. Of the phenomena it displays when acting on a state of health of a man, that we can become clearly cognizant of it, for which we get cognized, which we can observe with our senses. That after taking pulsatilla, this very lively man became so lachrymose. On a very, very small thing, he start weeping. This is how we come to learn. Weeps easily. It is very, very difficult to learn easily. It is very, very easy to learn about pulsatilla weeping. But it is not that simple weeping in the pulsatilla. It is the weeping easily is important. Very difficult to learn easily. So when this is the state, when you come to know that a healthy state of man alters under the influence of one particular medicine, say pulsatilla, making one very lively man so weepy, such kind of alterations. And when you see somebody so weepy, you ought to prescribe pulsatilla. When you are doing this, it is altogether changing the disease state of that man to a real health. This is what he is saying, that if you really want to be cognizant, means able to see by the senses, able to watch with the senses, give that particular medicine to a healthy human being, a phenomena will be described. Henman described in each drug, of all those 100 drugs, each one is a peculiar phenomena produced by that particular substance. Right from he writes in a schema form. It starts with the vertigo, ends throughout the schema, and he lastly is writing about the mental state of the human being, altered under the influence of that particular medicine. So it is the two vital powers, the vital power of the spirit like power of the medicine and the vital force of the healthy human being. They both interact, and in that interaction, a phenomena is produced. When this phenomena is produced, this is called the symptomatology. We are getting cognized this phenomena only by the altered signs and symptoms which are being observed by our senses in a healthy human being under the influence of that drug. And that very peculiar phenomena is the complete drug proving of that substance, which is nothing but the true materia medica of that substance. That is the reason Hahnemann named it materia medica pura. So, when he adds the word pura, he meant that for the first time, this is the book which contains the only pure effects of this particular medicine. And finally, he just gave us one doctrinal understanding, one conceptual understanding, one deep principles which works to create the pure materia medica. What is that deep principle? That deep principle is nothing but drug proving. You can only know about one drug when you test this drug on a healthy human being. This is the basic understanding. I do not know that whether science agrees to this or not, but science always agrees to the common sense. It is quite a simple common sense. If you want to know exactly what one drug is going to do with the human being, you test them on a healthy human being and find out. Why you are going via laboratory and via animals? That is what happening only that some 2500 years before. They were only with some kind of other ways of using it, mainly the effect of those herbs on the animals and some poisoning effects. And they completely throughout the history of medicine get altered here and there. And now at this present moment in the modern pharmacology, the knowledge of the drug, the power of the medicinal substance, we come to know via laboratory and via testing on animals. And later on, they try to do some clinical trials on the human beings. And almost in this process, when so much of energy and money is used, the obtained knowledge is half baked. It is not really so much helpful. But one thing is very sure in this half baked knowledge of one drug out of the laboratory and the testing on the animals, that ultimately we have to maintain a register for side effects. And it is so shabbily called scientific. And I'm ashamed saying it's scientific. But the one drug, when when you test it in a very very minute doses and come to know the alterations in the health of a healthy human being, this is the most sure guide, the most sure presentation phenomena that this particular drug can do this, and nothing else. This is being trapped in the ethical issues and those issues and this issues for whatever may be their selfish mottos. But the scientific motto, the humanistic motto is what Hahnemann has explained in Aphorism 19, 20, and we will be going to 21 also. But before going there, let us just see in the content what contents is saying about 19 and 20. For 19, the content table says, aphorism 19:19, the alteration of the state of the health in disease, in the bracket the disease symptoms, cannot be cured by medicines otherwise than in so far as the later have the power of producing alterations in the health. Same he is trying to explain in the nutshell, that whatever the altering power is the curative power. And in the 20th, this power of medicines to alter the state of health can only be ascertained by their effects on healthy person. In the aphorism, he says, in the 20th aphorism, he says, you cannot know by reasoning, by talks, mere discussions. The ultimate meaning of it is this, that you come to know by proving on the healthy human beings. Then let us see what is this appendix says regarding this aphorisms. We can always check up with the uh, all kind of improvements or the evolution is being done. The aphorism 19 is not really added here in the appendix, but then there is aphorism 20, about 20 appendix says the aphorism 20 to 24 are an expansion of aphorism 16 to 18 of the uh, first edition in all later editions. Means in the first edition of the Organon, which came in 1810, the aphorism number 16 and 18 were taken and they were expanded and they became aphorism 20 to 24. This is what he's saying. So like this, we come to know all this. And slowly at one point of time, if we can get aphorism, if we get the first edition of the Organon, we will be able to know that how Hahnemann made all these changes. But keep this in mind that in the first edition, the aphorisms 16 to 18, they were extended from second edition to the final edition and they became 20 and 24. I hope it is quite clear to you. Then for aphorism 21, nothing is written here. So for 19 and 21, nothing is there. But then definitely he made all the explanations in the 20th aphorism. Then there are certain things in the aphorism 20 I left, which is given in the bracket. If you see, it is just little bit of extended understanding when he says this is spirit-like power to alter man's state of health in bracket and hence to cure disease, means whatever the altering power is the curing power, which lies hidden in the interior nature of the medicines can in itself never be discovered. So in itself, he just tried to put these words in the sixth edition here, to emphasize on that there is something hidden in the medicine which will remain hidden until and otherwise you try them on a healthy human being. So, with this, we are able to say that the very conceptual part for the knowledge of medicine is that we are to learn the whole program of drug proving. It is quite a big program, very well, very meticulously done by Master Hellman. He did not give us some 4, 5, 10 medicines. He has given a complete array of 100 medicines. Not that very small thing. So this is something regarding the provings. Now, sometimes what happens, I'm giving you some little more deeper understanding about the concept of it, which is very well taught by my professor, Dr. Elim Khan. Whatever I'm saying, telling you, sharing you his wisdom, that if suppose you see one plant, maybe any other medicinal substance, for example, a plant, when this inner power in this X plant, say pulsatilla, has got some inner powers and it is interacting with the vital force. So just if you see, sometimes what happens that we are giving very less importance to our proved medicines. What we feel they are not so evolved drug. They are not really that scientific drug. But if you go a little deeper, you will come to know that how scientific these are. If you try to know regarding the pulsatilla, or you can say the plant of Lycopodium, how old this plant is. Today you try to find out that how old Lycopodium is, and also try to find out that how old the DNA of human race, and how these two very olden things, the plant may be rather much older than the DNA of the human race, and both powers which are much older than we think we know, they are interacting with each other. So those interactions of two powers, when they go into merging in a healthy human being, it is producing one complete phenomenon in the form of signs and symptoms. Just imagine. This phenomena is not really so simple, so complex that it requires so many various sciences to explain. So this is something in a very nutshell. I have just tried to make you understand. Just try to find out this in detail. How old the plant of Lycopodium and how old the human race. And as these two are quite old, ancient, when these powers interact with each other, such phenomena, how it will be, how it is going to be. I will be going into the detail of this discussion a little later, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But then for today, I just want to make you understand this very important understanding, that just keep with you this conceptual understanding of the proving in such a way. Again, it is a very scientific thing. But then again, we know the phenomena of it. And I told you earlier also, if we have the phenomena before us, and it is possible that science is really not known. But one thing is, there is no science behind it, is impossible. We are not aware what is the science behind. So in that case, you cannot deny the phenomena. Just imagine, we became scientific in last some 300, 400 years, maybe 250 years. Before that, as such, the science behind each phenomena was not known. Most of the generations of the human race, they were working with the phenomena only, but then they never denied the phenomena. It is out of very, what should I say, the selfish purposes, commercial purposes. They say how this arsenic is working in the COVID-19, how this brainia working in the COVID-19. There is no scientific proof behind. Hence, they are not writing, but then they are silently want to say. Hence, it is not to be allowed. But they are not agreeing with the phenomena all around, how people are getting better with these medicines. This is how the scenario in the time of Hahnemann, and like this, for anything new, anything good for the human race is not that easily accepted. If you know the history of uh, modern physics, same scholars of the classical physics, when they went further and they discovered the modern physics, they got disturbed because the classical physics was so established and it was so close to their soul and heart that they felt disturbed. They got disheartened with the new facts of modern physics. And so many in those days in 1920 and around did not accept that. But then there were some very learned physicists, those who said that the fact has to be accepted. That's what I'm saying in the medicine, the facts have to be accepted. Let us first of all, let us accept it. We should know our concept of provings of the drug. We should know about the concept of knowing the power of the medicine is such by way of drug proving that we are coming to know something about the hidden power. And this power is not that created now. It is since the beginning of this planet. Not now, since the beginning of the planet. Just study the chart of geology, evolution of the earth. Geology is teaching us about the evolution of the earth. And in that evolution, you come to know so many era, Jurassic era and all those. Then we can compare in the Jurassic era what plants were there and what plants were not there. Definitely human being was not there. What is this latest era going on? You will come to know from the subject of geology. So know all those kind of understanding, you will be having rather much more deeper knowledge regarding the concept of knowing the power of medicine. I believe that this, if I go further, it will take quite a longer time, and there are other. Everybody has got commitments, including me. So let me today wind off my class uh, now. If you have any questions so far we discussed, you can write me in another minute or so. But then one thing is very sure. They may be very small three aphorisms, not really carrying with so much of big footnotes and all. But it is nonetheless power packed because the knowledge it contains in 19, 20, and 21 about the concept of knowing the power of the drug is actual, real experiment, the original contribution of Master Hahnemann in the art of medicine. This very original work made the false art into a true art. It is such a paradigm shift. It is a paradigm shift. It is not that very small thing. So just take this and try to find out more informations as I gave you references about geology, about different eras in the geology, then all those other references which I used to give all the time. We will be knowing so much of knowledge about this concept that one thing is sure, that we will be completely washed off one thought, that our drugs are really quite unscientific or less scientific. It is very well explained by Dr. B.M. Hegde, one of the cardiologists and the ex Vice Chancellor of Manipal University. His videos are available, his books are available, Dr. B.M. Hegde. And once I attended his seminar where I heard him live, he was telling how knowing one drug in the way homeopathy knows is much more scientific than rest of the knowledge taken from the laboratory and the animal. Same, it was heard in such a way as if Hahnemann is coming and telling you the truth, the salutary truth. So just know, listen him, you will come to know so much of good knowledge. So dear friends, for today, let us take a break. Tomorrow I'll be back in time and continue further. Tomorrow we'll just finish these conceptual part of the knowledge of the drug with the aphorism 21, and thereafter 22 onwards it is something related to the principle of conceptual part, again about the principles of application, how to apply the power of medicine to the disease. And that is quite a lengthy part in so many of different parts and subparts. So we will be continuing that. I hope now the whole program of knowing Ognon you're getting, you're now able to understand so much of it, and we will be continuing. Things will be quite easier for all of you now, and so much of the aphorisms now thereafter are known to you. You read all those aphorisms, but still we will be going through them all again and trying to know what is unknown in it. We will try to uncover which is still covered before us. Thank you very much, everyone.